When the concept of using thoughts and intentions to manifest objectives first gained traction, many people questioned why, despite doing everything right, life frequently seemed to take more complex turns. Conflicts and unforeseen issues quickly surfaced for those who immersed themselves in visualization techniques, positive affirmations, and visualization exercises. For instance, debts or other unanticipated financial occurrences would surface if the intention was to attract riches. There would be arguments and miscommunications if the goal was harmony. The cosmos appeared to be deceiving everyone, making them wonder if anything more profound was taking place, or if everything was just going wrong. Over time, thinkers and practitioners observed a pattern. The cosmos worked like a mirror, reflecting our true nature, rather than merely making requests like a genie in a lamp. Declaring our desires was therefore insufficient. We also needed to confront our inner patterns, fears, and beliefs. Every time someone made the decision to take a different path, accept a different goal, or become more receptive to a different reality, circumstances would appear that appeared to challenge the consistency of that desire. Since then, the phrase "universe tests" has been used to describe situations in which we are faced with obstacles that initially appear to be in direct opposition to our desires. It happened often. Someone made a clear decision to succeed, but instead of seeing their gains grow, they witnessed everything collapse. In many instances, it was during this most trying time that it became evident that an internal transformation was taking place. Do you really want this new condition? Was the question that life seemed to be asking. Thus, demonstrate to yourself your willingness to conquer challenges. Instead of being a reason to give up, this interpretation of failures ultimately served as motivation to keep going. We are also shaking up old behaviors that don't want to make way when we deepen our desire for change, if the universe is simply a reflection of our inner condition. Like long-term tenants, these behaviors oppose the entry of a new resident, the way of thinking we want to embrace. It made sense. All it took for someone accustomed to viewing the world through the prism of scarcity to develop misgivings again was a financial difficulty. The individual had the option to either reinforce the new self, which was more self-assured, successful, and creative, or revert to the destructive pattern of the past at that precise moment. She would essentially affirm that she was not prepared for the change she had so desperately desired if she went with the old pattern. However, she demonstrated to the universe and to herself that she was committed to maintaining that frequency if she insisted on the new state of consciousness despite the unfavorable conditions. As time passed, the conviction grew more sincere and life began to react differently. Relationships within the family or romantic sphere may also exhibit this behavior. People would frequently run into disagreements or arguments that would not previously exist when they wished for greater peace and harmony. Because they were so contradictory, they were nearly caricatured scenarios that made one reconsider every response. Am I willing to act according to the peaceful person I wish to be, or will I repeat the old stance, full of criticisms and complaints? Was the question that emerged at that pivotal time. This was dubbed the acid test of manifestation, since it required a person to show a shift in their own behavior if they wanted to inhabit a different reality. Nobody predicted that it would be simple. On the contrary, it was unsettling to learn that our deep-seated ideas and insecurities frequently served as our worst enemies. The old self versus new self metaphor gained popularity because it provided a clear explanation for why people encountered so many obstacles when they made the decision to change. The former self, at ease and somewhat secure in its limits, made every effort to stay alive. In essence, these assessments served as decision-making tools that demonstrated whether the shift was significant. We used to believe that if something is meant to be mine, everything should flow smoothly. However, history demonstrated that many faced challenges right before they accomplished anything noteworthy. Burning bridges with outdated attitudes is necessary to advance, which causes friction both within and externally. This logic gave rise to the suggestion that overcoming each challenge is a necessary step in the path of self-improvement. After all, if we want something better than what we currently have, it makes sense to think that we will be asked to develop, mature, and break bad behaviors that don't align with our future goals. If we are always paralyzed by the dread of losing money, what good is it to desire abundance? Why would anyone want to be healthy? Relationships, if our responses continue to be demanding and mistrustful. Although these exams may appear harsh, they were frequently little more than reality checks that highlighted the things we still needed to fix. Many people have chosen to celebrate even the slightest successes in order to continue on this path. Recognizing a little successful stride in the face of hardship is like sending a signal that we are determined to keep moving in the right path. The new self gradually gains strength with each stride, while the old tenant gradually loses ground. Naturally, the goal is to use these experiences as a launching pad for progress, rather than to ignore the suffering or disappointment caused by issues. Self-empathy is essential during this process because it helps us realize that we are dealing with deeply rooted tendencies and that total change takes time. At some time, it's normal to lapse and return to previous habits. The key is to acknowledge this, take a breath, and proceed. When life starts to improve in a more harmonic manner following some upheaval, this internal movement also becomes apparent. On numerous occasions we state, it seemed like everything was going wrong, but suddenly everything went right. Actually, it wasn't that abrupt. We demonstrated to the universe, or to ourselves, that we were prepared to obtain what we so desperately wanted during a time when we continued to adopt the new mindset despite difficulties. We have merely learned to approach each challenge with greater composure, knowing that if we genuinely want that objective, we will maintain consistency between our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This does not suggest that we will never encounter difficulties again. Creative imagination is another helpful strategy for overcoming these obstacles, where we imagine ourselves as the me who has already achieved the dream. How would the person I want to be act? Is a question we might ask ourselves whenever a challenge presents itself. This small shift in viewpoint aids in reversing instinctive responses that support the former self. At first, it could seem odd, but it gets more natural with repetition. We start to react to current circumstances with attitudes that are in line with this new norm when we imagine that we have already attained a level of serenity, abundance, or confidence. Naturally, living this way does not ensure that everything will go according to our plans. Life always has its secrets and turns. However, when the inner essence is strengthened, challenges become chances for progress rather than being associated with failure. This significantly lessens the hopelessness that follows failures. In this way, viewing the world as a mirror does not relieve us of our obligations. Instead of claiming to be victims of our circumstances, it demonstrates that we are capable of rewriting historical narratives and embracing change. This method gives each person back control, while also acknowledging that we are a part of a larger system of interactions that mirrors our decisions, goals, and lessons learned. The significance of integrating what we have learned is among the most important lessons in comprehending the universe's tests. Going through tough times and surviving them isn't enough. We also need to emerge from them with newfound wisdom and strength. After a while, it is not unusual for people to reflect on their past and express gratitude for the challenges they overcame, realizing that they could not have achieved such significant transformations without them. Despite being unsettling, the old self ultimately serves as a benchmark for assessing our progress toward a more developed, aware, and capable version of ourselves. Because of this, it's important to have patience with growth cycles. Months or even years may pass between some of them,
certain aspirations necessitate a massive metamorphosis, particularly when they entail revisiting familial or emotional patterns that have been ingrained in us for decades. In any case, it's important to maintain our attention on the goal we want to achieve, while also paying attention to our feelings and thoughts. This balance is crucial, because merely saying "I want to change" is insufficient if we still carry insecurities or resentments that go against what we say on the inside. It's important to keep in mind that you're not alone if you feel like you're experiencing these difficulties at the moment. This identical phenomenon is reported by a number of researchers and seekers in the field. During this period
of self-discovery, we strongly sense the old things attempting to cling on, while the new is alluring but still unproven. Accepting this discomfort as a normal aspect of the process is the best course of action. It's similar to a rite of passage. Out of fear or familiarity, a part of us always wants to stay where it is. However, if the change is truly desired, we eventually find that it is worthwhile to go through each test, since it validates our sincerity and cleanses our vibration. The biggest benefit of remaining steadfast on this course is eventually feeling how much more competent we are at handling life without quickly giving in to pessimism. The gains become internal as well as external, such as increased resilience, confidence, and calmness. Ironically, something that would have been viewed as failure actually learns. We become appreciative of what we still need to improve within ourselves and stop blaming the universe for evil schemes. Regardless of any potential blunders, a quiet confidence that we are headed in the right direction emerges. A genuine alliance with the cosmos is born out of this maturing, where we do not expect things to unfold quickly in accordance with our plan. Rather, we recognize that we are always co-creating the universe, with its enigmatic way of mirroring what we cultivate within, and ourselves, with our decisions and feelings. Since we understand that everything has a purpose, even if it is not immediately apparent, there is more fluidity and less hopelessness. If you've read this far, I encourage you to keep searching for development and harmony between your goals and actions. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel if this message was helpful or reassuring. By doing this, you enable us to connect with additional individuals who are following the same road of conscious manifestation as you. Become a part of this community of seekers that value inner growth and conquering obstacles. Ultimately, as more individuals become aware of this process, we come to see that, even if our path is unique to us, it resonates with a network of shared experiences. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you soon. It's time.